There are signals moving through the air right now. Signals that don't belong to any public system. Signals designed to be heard only by those who know exactly what they're listening for. But sometimes, those signals leak. They slip into civilian receivers. They repeat for decades. They transmit without explanation. Tonight, we're tuning into real military radio signals that shouldn't exist. Broadcasts that were never meant to be public. And in some cases, were never meant to be acknowledged at all. This is Creepy Frequency, where real broadcasts become real mysteries. And the static is never empty. Every signal you're about to hear about was logged, recorded, and investigated, not by storytellers, but by engineers, intelligence agencies, and radio operators who couldn't explain what they were hearing. Story 1: Numbers Stations, Espionage Signals. For decades, radio hobbyists around the world reported hearing voices reading strings of numbers. No music, no explanation. Just numbers. These broadcasts became known as numbers stations. They appeared on shortwave frequencies used heavily by military and intelligence agencies. Many followed rigid schedules, broadcasting at the same time, on the same frequency, every day. For years, governments denied any involvement. Until 2001. That year, a Cuban intelligence officer publicly confirmed that numbers stations were real espionage tools, used to transmit encrypted instructions to undercover agents using one-time pads. This method is mathematically unbreakable. But here's the unsettling part. Many numbers stations continued broadcasting long after the Cold War ended. Some stopped abruptly. Others changed voices. A few never stopped at all. Even today, unexplained numeric broadcasts are logged by shortwave listeners, with no official owner, no attribution, and no explanation of who's still listening. Story 2: Havana Syndrome, and the Signal Question. In 2016, American diplomats stationed in Cuba began reporting something deeply strange, before experiencing severe headaches, dizziness, memory loss, and hearing damage. Many reported hearing a sound, a high-pitched buzzing, a chirping noise, sometimes a grinding tone. The incident became known as Havana Syndrome. Medical examinations confirmed real neurological injury. What caused it remains disputed. Some researchers proposed directed radio frequency energy or microwave exposure. Others argued the sound recordings were environmental or biological. But the mystery deepened when similar incidents were reported by intelligence personnel in multiple countries, including Europe and Asia. No weapon was ever recovered. No transmitter was definitively identified. But the possibility that radio frequency emissions could silently injure people changed how militaries think about signals, not just as communication, but as potential influence. Story 3: The Russian Woodpecker Signal. From the late 1970s through the end of the Cold War, radio operators around the world heard a signal so powerful it overwhelmed entire frequency bands. It sounded like rapid knocking. Tick, 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 tick. It became known as the Russian Woodpecker. The signal disrupted civilian broadcasts, aviation communications, and even emergency frequencies. Engineers struggled to filter it out. Eventually, Its source was identified as Duga radar, a massive Soviet over-the-horizon radar system designed to detect incoming nuclear missiles. The radar used enormous amounts of power and transmitted continuously. But here's what made it disturbing. The system operated by blasting the ionosphere with radio waves, bouncing signals thousands of miles beyond the horizon. At the time, scientists didn't fully understand the long-term effects of such transmissions. Some researchers raised concerns about interference, environmental impact, and unintended signal propagation. Then, in 1986, something happened. The Chernobyl nuclear disaster occurred just miles from the Duga installation. Shortly afterward, the signals stopped. The system was abandoned. But for years, one of the most powerful military radio signals ever created was hammering the planet's atmosphere, heard by civilians worldwide, without warning, and without explanation. Story 4: Early Military Radio Anomalies. Long before digital encryption and satellites, radio pioneers documented strange behavior they couldn't explain. Even Guglielmo Marconi, whose work laid the foundation for military communications, recorded unexpected signal propagation during early transatlantic tests. Messages arrived distorted, echoes appeared without sources, signals traveled far beyond predicted ranges. At the time, the ionosphere wasn't understood. Military planners quickly realized something unsettling: radio doesn't always obey intention. Once a signal is sent, you can't always control where it ends up. Some military signals are deliberate, some are classified, some are never meant to be heard at all, but radio waves don't care about secrecy. They travel, they linger, and sometimes, they reveal more than intended. If you want more true stories about strange broadcasts and unexplained transmissions, subscribe, and if you've ever heard something unusual on the radio yourself, tell us in the comments.